Hello, we are Team WorldTrekker. My name is Erin.
I'm Russell, and we are the designers.
I'm Weihan.
I'm Benjamin.
My name's Devin.
And I'm Dave, and we are the developers.
So if you're like us, you probably really like to travel. Perhaps you've made plans to eventually walk along 14 states on the Appalachian Trail, go to one of the oldest cities in the world in Machu Picchu on the Inca Trail, visit the Queen Charlotte Sound in New Zealand, or perhaps walk along the longest man-made structure in the world on the Great Wall of China, or walk between the 5 towns on the Cinque Terre Trail in Italy. However, if you are like us, you probably don't have the time, money, or resources to travel as much as you'd like. This is where WorldTrekker comes in. WorldTrekker is a fitness and virtual travel app that allows wanderlusters to see the world with every step. And now we're going to show you a short video talking about what our app can do for our users.
So our video shows you some of the benefits that our app has. However, we would like to share all the benefits that you guys will have as users of WorldTrekker. So once you've downloaded our app, you can go ahead and launch it. And the very first time that you launch it, you'll be taken to the part of our app that shows all of the future treks that you can take. This shows you the list of trails that are available, and you can go ahead and select one that you think is most interesting, and you can look at the map of the trail that you'll take, the distance of that trek, and then you can also choose to set that as your current trek. Once you set that trail will then move into your in progress part of the app. That way you know that you're currently working on it. We also wanted to show you what a trail would be like once you've already made some progress towards it. So we're going to go ahead and show you the Great Wall of China. I do have to commend you because it looks like you've hiked about 50% of the Great Wall, which is over 6,000 miles. So good job. Don't know how you did it. You can see that progress shown on the map. It's shown by the pins, which are the milestones that are unlocked, and there's a little red line that also follows that to show your progress. Below that map is where you can see the distance that you've hiked as well as the distance you still have remaining. You also have access to milestones, and these milestones serve as motivation to continue to work towards completing this trek. And so every so often you'll unlock one, and when you click into it, you'll see a photo and a fact accompanying that trail. So it allows you to see the trail, it allows you to learn a bit more about the history and the culture of the region that you're currently in. And so it's a great way to learn more about another country while still being, here in Colombia. And then below the milestones is where you have the short description of the trail, which helps provide some context for you before you even begin working on the trail. So now that you are working towards some trails, we also want to show you the other part of our app, which is traveled. This kind of serves as your passport, so you can see what you've done since you've downloaded our app. So not only are you halfway through the Great Wall of China, but you've also hiked the Appalachian Trail. So you've hiked through 14 states. Good job. It's been, 3 months, maybe? Not too long. So here, once you click into the trail that you've completed, you can see the trail that you took with all the milestones. You can see the distance that you hiked and how long that took you to complete, as well as you have access to look at all those past milestones that you've unlocked if you want to go back in and look at the photos or double check those facts. And you also still have access to that description. Another feature of our Traveled tab is that you can click on the summary part, which kind of acts as the spark notes of our app. So here's where you can see everything you've done since you first downloaded the app. So you have access to the total distance that you've traveled, the number of trails that you've traveled, the total time that you've had the app, the average daily distance, which I believe is around 20 miles. Wow. You have the trails that you have yet to start, that are in progress and that are completed. So this serves as a great way if you kind of want to brag to your friends, you can show them this screen and be like, bam, I'm awesome. But I also, we've shown you some of the features that you get as a user, but we want to tell you a little bit more about the technology that went into making this app what it is today. So I'm going to pass it off to our developers, and they're going to share more about that with you.
All right. So as you might have seen as Aaron was walking you through the app, our app is divided into two sections based upon tabs found at the bottom of the screen. One's a trekking tab, and the other one is a traveled tab. In each of these tabs, you'll find a segmented controller, and they have two segments on each. In the trekking, you will find an in progress and a future, and in the traveled, you'll find a completed and summary. Three of those segments are very similar, and those being the in progress, future, as well as the completed segments. Inside of those segments are custom table view cells. And when you click on one of those table view cells, it'll bring you to a view controller, which I will now hand it off to Wei Han, who will tell you more about that.
In this section, we add the view controller, and we add map view and the connection view inside of it. When you click the certain items, it will show its pictures and facts. And then David will talk about the summary segment of our app.
Okay, so moving into the summary segment of our app, this section aggregates all of the data of the total use of a user's total use of our app over the lifetime of having the app downloaded. This is all done through dynamic data, and for the dynamic data, we used core data. The core data actually deals with things such as miles and time, anything dealing with those and your progress. It actually, if you go back to the trekking tab in the progress bar, is populated by this core data. So after that, moving into our static data, we used what are known as property lists. Those property lists are used to populate things such as our facts and descriptions inside of our app. So now that I've told you more about the technical aspects of our app, I'm now going to hand it back to Aaron, who will tell you about the
Market research, thanks. So we have identified three main audiences for this app. The primary audience are millennials, like you and me. They're people who don't have the money, probably, to travel as much as they'd like to. They're probably busy with school and work and different organizational commitments. And so we really want to provide an experience to them where they can travel without ever leaving wherever they're living. For us, it's in Colombia. The second market that we've identified are professionals. And these are people who are a little bit older than us, have already started their careers, but they may be restricted still because they're paying off student loans or something like that, or they may be starting a family, so they don't have the time or money to do so. And so in order to reach them and communicate what our app can do for them, we've identified different channels we can use. The most important one, I think, being social media. It's a great way for us to target these people, and we can use the different data and whatnot that is provided by these different social media sites to make sure that our app is communicated to the people who would like it and want it the most. We also think that partnering with different travel blogs would be a great way to communicate our message to potential users. We could also see magazines being a great way to advertise and put our message out there. And then also partnering with a show, whether that's advertising or sponsoring in some way, The Amazing Race. It actually has a really great viewership for people between the ages of 18 and 49. And a lot of people that watch that show probably wish that they were on it or that they could do that type of traveling. So we can kind of supplement that. I mean, they don't get all the competition and the money, but they get they can still have some travel experience. And then our third target market are people who already travel. There are people out there that are lucky enough to travel as often and as much as they would like. They have the resources to do so, but maybe they want to add another travel component to their lives. And so we're not going to exclude them from using our app. They're just not our primary target. And to reach them, we think advertising on sites like TripAdvisor and stuff like that would be good, or maybe with travel agencies. So there are a lot of different possibilities and ways for us to reach our potential markets. And so we are extremely proud of the app that we have shared with you today. However, there were quite a few features that we had initially planned on incorporating that didn't get incorporated due to time restraints. One of those features is a settings page, and this would have just allowed for more customization for each user of our app. So they would have had the ability to decide what type of notifications that they'd like to receive, how the distance was displayed. So right now we have it set in miles, which is what we're used to, but most of the world uses kilometers. So we also wanted to have that as a possibility. And then also having the ability to determine how time is displayed. So as they're working on a trail, they can either look at how much progress they've made that day on the trail or the total time that they spent working towards that trail. Another feature that we would have liked to have included is the ability for users to pause trails and move on to other ones. So, after hiking 6,000 miles of the Great Wall, you may be getting kind of tired of it and want to switch to a shorter trail. This feature would have allowed you to pause that progress without losing any of that data, switch over to another trail, and then return to it once you're ready to continue to work on it. Another feature is being able to share your adventures to social media. We think that's a great way for our users to share their treks with their friends on Facebook and Twitter and the like, and it's also a great way to promote our app. And then another feature was having some of the trails be locked. We think this is definitely something that we will be implementing in the future, and users can either unlock that through progress made on other trails, or potentially in the future having an in-app purchase option. Other features that we had hoped to use were progress charts. So this would be available for every different trail that they're working on. And ideally, they'd be able to see this data either in the daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly time frame, depending on what they choose. But it's a way to display more of their fitness statistics to them. We also would have liked to have incorporated a social challenge aspect to it. I'm sure you guys have all heard of or maybe used some of the fitness apps out there where you can challenge your friends to different things, whether that be taking the most steps or traveling the furthest, going the fastest, whatever the case may be. So we think this is a great way to engage people with their friends and with our app. And then we also thought of some features later in the semester that we would like to include someday, but we knew there would never be any chance of us pulling it off this semester. And those features include in-app purchases, as I mentioned, so for those locked trails. We could also see our app having both a paid and an unpaid version in the future. We definitely would like to expand to other devices in the Apple ecosystem. Wearable technology is a great use for fitness apps like ours, and so we definitely want to create a watch app in the future. And then lastly, we would like to incorporate some element of virtual reality so that we can help transport our users to different parts of the world. We are, after all, a virtual travel app. And so today we have presented you with WorldTrekker. We have shared with you what we have created so far and where we plan to take it and who we want to use our app. WorldTrekker is the virtual travel and fitness app for wanderlusters like you and me. It will show us the world with every step. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Come on out.
Just a couple of things. When you're stating out the mission statement, make sure you slow down and make sure they're going to get your mission statement right off the bat, so no rush through things. This presentation was very smooth. Obviously choreographed. I think you feel good about that, and you should. That's what I have to say for you. There's some other small things, but that's basically what I have. You made it. Just one add on, as long as we've got a minute or two. Don't put your hands in your pockets while you're presenting. I might miss any names. Also, an interesting. I mean, no, this is a general rule of presenting because it makes you look unprofessional. So you want to be confident, and you don't need to put your hands in your pockets. I think as a secondary market, you can consider teenagers and younger. I mean, preteens even. This is a great way to understand and learn about the world. To people who already know they want to be out there experiencing it.
That's a good idea.
I mean, you could expand in that direction. Target audience. High school teachers love you for that, right?
Yeah, the social media ones.
So that's
Like the
something to
social.
think of. I think you guys, one of the things that made your presentation really nice is that summary recap at the end. I think you did a good job of wrapping it up. So we didn't specifically make this point, but a lot of you have the slide that says questions at the end. And when you get into a professional setting where you're actually pitching your app, put your branding at the end so that we're looking at your branding, a reminder of you and what you stand for as opposed to big word questions. So we didn't coach you on that. In fact, we may have coached you in the opposite way from what I'm saying now. But when you get out there and do this in the real world, you want to leave us with your branding as the visuals. Yeah.
So one of the challenges of doing a demo of this app is if it's a new build and you're running it for the first time, there's nothing to show. So there's some little fakery here to give a good demo. And sometimes you have to do that. Like the build you put on the store isn't necessarily the build you're going to show, so that you can show progress bars, you can show, completed things, because the reality would be in new devices, 0 steps on it, right? So that's cool. I also want to say visually, I like the fact that there's a progress bar in the table view item showing me that without having to go into it, which is really, really cool. And I know Wehan has seen me a dozen times over weeks over creating this table cells and having progress there, so it's really cool. So, good.
Okay, thanks you guys.
Thanks.